Woo! Woo! We're back. We're here. It's been a few days. Oh no, my screen went dark. Oops. But hello, everybody. We're live. Hope you guys are having a fantastic Monday. Hope you guys had a good Halloween. We're going to be playing some Animal Crossing today, because I didn't get the chance to play over the weekend. But we're going to be working on it. We're going to be doing some whatever. What's up, someone else? How you doing today? Welcome to the stream, my friend. I need to put all this stuff away. That's what I need to do. Yo, Friday's going to be hype. Tammy Pip! Excuse me, Tangy. Yo, Friday's going to be hype. I'm just so excited for Friday's stream. I'm so stoked for Friday's stream. I'm excited for the new update, and I know a lot of you guys are. And I know Tammy's waiting for the new update to drop before she even touches it. I can't contain myself enough to wait. Even though I can wait on other things. Cockroach is back. Let's go. Well, I need to put all this stuff away. That's what I need to do. Tell me Thursday night. Oh, true. We're supposed to have band practice this weekend, but we haven't decided on a day yet. I told him I could do it Saturday. Saturday afternoon. Late Saturday. What's up, Betsy? It is party time. We're out here. This is for a build video. I need to pick up all this mess on my island. This is all for a build video. Because I'm going to build a cafeteria. This will be the next build video. And here in the next few weeks coming up, I might have to miss a few streams due to getting my mouth cut open. Which I'm not looking forward to. I'm absolutely petrified. And it's just thinking about it keeps me awake at night. Not looking forward to it. But we're going to be alright. It'll be worth it. It'll be absolutely freaking worth it. How's your day been, Betsy? And how's your day been, everybody? How was your guys' Halloween? Halloweener? I didn't do anything Halloween. I kind of just slept all day. I actually felt like crap. Honestly. But we're feeling better today. Still feeling slightly like the doo-doo butter, but we're feeling better today. I just gotta put all the stuff away so I can empty my pockets. But I just need to... I don't know what we're doing today. We're probably just gonna hang out, kick it. It's been alright. Felt that, Betsy. Felt that, 100%. Sorry, my mom was saying something. I answered and she never answered me back. Jeez. Let's go pick up the rest of this garbage. Go pick up the rest of this, not garbage, because I probably need it. But I'm gonna go pick up all this stuff to get off, you know, just to get rid of the junk that's clustered about. And then we'll just hang out and do whatever we want. I need to pick up all this. It's a lot. It's absolutely a lot. I need to move houses and stuff. We're just gonna pick it all up. Gotta keep it tidy. Gotta keep it nice and tidy. Oh yeah, all this is like food and stuff for the build video that I grabbed off my other island. Got cupcakes. Shout out to Ryan Pert for cupcakes. Oh my gosh, this is a lot. That's a lot of junk. A lot of stew. I didn't realize I had this much stuff on the ground. It's gonna take, I thought it was gonna take one trip. It's gonna take two. That's unfortunate. We might just do some pathing for a little bit, cause I just feel like doing some pathing. We're killing it. We're absolutely cleaning it up. All this stuff is gonna make more sense later, but we got a lot. I am full. I am absolutely full. I need to get a tube. I need to get one of the Mario tubes so I can move between spots, place to place easier. But don't want to. Don't want to yet. My head hurts. Slightly hurts, but it doesn't hurt as bad as it did yesterday. Yesterday it hurt all day. It was awful. Sorry, cockroach. I'm busy. Eventually, you're gonna be evicted, and it's gonna be super sweet, super freaking sweet. I might evict you right now with my left shoe, cause it'll be sick. I wish there was a way that I could just select my whole inventory and put it into the storage. And good news is we get more storage on Friday, which is pretty poggers. Pretty epic. And put all this junk back in here. Hey, there's a lawn chair that I needed. What's up, Catty Swampy? How you doing today? Welcome to the stream. Hope you're having a lovely day. I don't even remember what half of this stuff is, because some of this stuff doesn't ring a bell. I had an idea of what all this stuff was going to be used for, and some of this stuff, as I read the name, I literally have no idea. Literally no idea what I'm going to do with it. And one more trip, and we'll have the mess cleaned up. But first, we're going to take care of the infestation over there. And I was going to do like kind of a white looking like cafeteria area here. And then I sat here and I thought about it a little bit more. And I'm gonna do it all bright and colorful kid core style. What's up, Doshi? How you doing, my man? Hope you're having a lovely day. I know you're doing a birthday stream in a couple of days. Happy early birthday, Doshi. Oop, dead. Get out of my face. Get out of my face. We don't need you. Alright. Back to picking it up and putting it down. I should have cleaned this mess up earlier. What's up, Draco? How you doing, dude? Hope you're having a lovely Monday. Alright, pick it up. Pick it up. Pick it up quick and stealthy. On the way to work. Ooh. Work. I just got off work not that long ago. I hope work's good to you. You want ice cream cake? Dude, I haven't had cake in forever, Doshi. But I hope you get all the cake you want for your birthday. I hope somebody brings you an ice cream cake. If not, they're fired. 100% fired. I like my Where's Waldo outfit. That's what I call it. I got it from my other island. Well, this is a shirt and the hat. There we go. There we go. Now we're all clean. There's Bones' house. I absolutely love Bones. He is the best dude ever. What's up, Star Child? You're cooking turkey day ingredients? You're so ready? Let's go. I wish they would have given us more Turkey Day stuff. I'm excited for all the update. I'm ready for the update. I'm gonna give away some update codes at release day for people because I'm just feeling like doing it. Why not? I know a bunch of people are hyped and some people don't want to wait, so might as well. Doshi, what are you doing, dude? Thank you so much for the super chat. You didn't have to do that, bro. You gotta spend that. You gotta save your money. You gotta keep that for your birthday. I don't know if y'all can hear that, but I can't currently. But thank you so much, Doshi. You're killing it, my dude. A slice of pink birthday cake. That's for your birthday, Doshi. You're insane. But thank you, my dude. I appreciate it. Alright. Too much so. I appreciate it, Doshi. You're too kind, my dude. Too freaking kind. And here, in the next few weeks, I'll be hearing about a house. which I'm pretty stoked about. It's probably gonna need some work, but we'll get it done. But it'll be awesome. It'll be mine. It'll be awesome just to have something that's mine. I'm pretty stoked. I've been working extra hours at work and just hanging out, trying to, you know, do what I gotta do. But I'm stoked and I'm scared. I'm also scared. I'm scared for a lot of things this month. But it's gonna be sweet. There's another cockroach here. There is an absolutely another cockroach. It's cold where you're at. It was cold this morning, but it got to like 70 degrees like after lunchtime around here. Where you at? Out of here. How much bells do I have? I have enough. I think I can move a villager's house. What's the temperature where you're at, Doshi? Alright. Alright. I need to move a villager's house before I can move the Able sisters. Let's go in here. We're just chilling today, guys. I'm just hanging out today. Tom Nook! We got business. We got some business to attend to. Yeah, Prance over here. I need you to help me with my business. My extreme business. But I mean island, you know, island stuff. Design stuff. Fantastic, beautiful looking stuff. I need to move an island home. I don't remember whose house I need to look at. That's bad. I need to remember I don't remember what house I wanted to move. I believe it's Sherry's house. Yeah, it's Sherry's house. Okay. We're Gucci. We're Gucci sneaks. Infrastructure. I want layout changes. I want to do stuff. I need Cherry's house to get out of my way. Yeah, you. You're the one that we need to move. 50,000? Oh, you don't have the money. I don't have the money. I'm dumb. I'm an idiot. I'm an idiot. I'm excited for all the new stuff on Friday. This is going to be super hype nation. I should have been grinding for Nook Miles. If I can only have 2 villagers, who would they be? Goldie? Goldie's number 1. Right now, probably Goldie and Bones. But Pietro's up there too. Probably Goldie and Pietro would be super hype. You're making hot wings. Ooh, what? Ooh. Well, that sounds delicious, Pixel, but I'm like, what? I need 50,000. It's 6 right now, like 6 degrees? You get the paper linen already? No. Tangy and Aussie? Tangy's so precious, Tammy. I don't have the paper. What do you mean paper liners? I don't have any kind of stuff like that, Star Child. Dang, Doshi. Don't freeze to death, dude. That's insane. Down here in the south, it really don't get that cold. It gets cold, but usually like it warms up a little bit after lunchtime. Henry? Ooh. Tangy's precious. I'm glad I got Tangy. She is cute. You're alive. What's up, Echo? Welcome, welcome, welcome. Hope you're having a fantastic day, my friend. Now I can do it, right? I hope so. Oh, Connor, you changed your name, dude. What made you change your name, bro? You're gonna flip a table and smack a villager with a net? That's a little extreme, though, she. Especially I'm now on... Now one... I'll have to check that out in just a second. I made to do this Island Home shenanigans, Star Child, and I'll check that out. Ooh. Yo, Pixel Bat, I'm coming over. Mail me some, actually. Put it, like, express ship it. Just kidding. Doshi, that's a good question. You're considering a name change, Ryan? What? What would you change it to, Ryan? Bad idea? I got you. What's up, Ryan Perp? Hope you're doing good, man. Tomorrow, Ryan Perp. Tomorrow, if we win tomorrow. I hope we win tomorrow, Ryan Perp. It's gonna be sick. Yeah, which villager would you smack, Doshi? That's a better question. Why would you be so hostile? Okay. And then Nooks. I'll go in there. Yo. They should have had last night, Ryan Perp, but it didn't go down, man. It was a very sad night. My dad was very angry. I can't repeat what he said last night, but he was very angry. And for the bits and pieces I saw, it was looking good at the start. Looking good, but not so good now. Alright. You said in the Nook shop. It is November 1st on my game for once. It is the actual day, but not the right time. Actual day, though. But make sure you guys smash the like button if you haven't already done so. Oh, ATM. Yeah, I'm gonna go move this house though real quick. Before I forget. Right here seems legit. Can I put it here? Can I put it here, please? No. Okay, how out here then, game? What? Like, I just can't stand. Yes. I don't need to imagine it. Just do it. This isn't permanent for Cherry. This is only for future. Yeah. This is only for the future. Only not for the future, for right meow. There's leave. Excuse me, Tangy. I'm sorry. I don't mean to kick you around like that, baby girl. Let me go check the ask him. I'm excited for the ATMs we're getting though. For people with like city core or like city kind of ideas, that's gonna be poggers. Oh, this is all the Mario stuff. Ooh. Yeah, give me that. Why not two of them? And that one. I'll just buy three. Why not? Because I can. Seasonal. Thank you, Star Child. You're absolutely poggers. Question for you. Which village are you going to whack with a net, Doshi? That was the question, Broham. Yo, that would be seriously epic, Pixel Bat, for sure. Alright. What? Sorry. No, I was helping my mom do something. She brought some in here for me to do. She's so cute. What? Let's wrap up. Let's wrap up. Go the next day. Do what we gotta do. What's cute, Tammy? I'm confused, homie. I am absolutely confused. Oh, Tangy? That's who you're talking about. Tangy's awesome. I have her amiibo. I've never had her, but she's so cute. I think I like her more than Mitzi, 100%, honestly. 100% honest. Tangy over Mitzi. Tangy got them bars, Tammy. She got white bars. Don't, no, we're not sleep. We need next day sleep. I need tomorrow. Yeah, I need tomorrow. So I'm pretty sure Tangy and Bones are gonna be the new. That's gonna be her new boo thing. So I'm gonna probably have to end up finding a new island boo thing, unless I win her back. So I'm probably gonna have to like build her this sweet vacation home on the update, so she can love me. But it's okay. It's okay. I love Goldie though. Goldie's top tier. My opinion, Tammy, Goldie over Tangy. I don't even know why I love her so much. She's just so beautiful. She's just so beautiful. Aww. But how is your guys' week going so far? I even noticed that little chat thing that had a wrench at the top corner. That's cool. That's epic. They are the best dogs. Facts. I found Bones. I was so stoked, Doshi. I didn't think I would find him because I don't have good luck when it comes to finding villagers. But apparently on my hiatus, I did. You should, someone else. As you should. Yeah, Isabel. We know. We know, sweetheart. We know. Let's do this. I need to move the Able Sisters. I have an idea of what I want to do for my Able Sisters. I just don't know entirely of what I'm going to do. Thank you guys so much for 10 likes. Lucky? Lucky's awesome. I've never had him. I've only seen him. Yeah, the dog villagers are epic. I absolutely love the dog villagers. I think we need more dogs and cats. Thanks. For Cherry? Cherry's cute. I think I have Cherry's amiibo card. I've seen his house before though. She's pretty sick. It's pretty epic, dude. Does anybody know how many blocks are the shop, the Able Sister shop? Or how many white squares wide it is? Because I am not genius. What's up, Kay? Friday is... I'm ready. I want it to hurry up so bad. And I hope you're having a fantastic day. Okay. Thank you so much for stopping by today. Dang, that was some bars right there for you. Dang. Am I streaming 2.0 on day one? I'm gonna stream it Friday. It'll be that Friday. It'll be the exact day, like Friday. Friday will be the day. At the party. 5x5? Thank you so much. I'm done. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Sweet. That'll work. I gotta move this again. You gotta work Friday? No, Doshi, tell him you can't. Tell him you can't work, dude. Just be like, nah, that ain't me. I got busy. Be like, look, I got a head cold. No. Or just tell him you have like you have a gas problem, you know? Tell him you have aggressive farting in your work, and the people you work with would not appreciate it. That would be the best option. Alright, let's move Abel's sisters out of the way, then have to move it again. I'm gonna go ahead and just grab 110,000, because why not? That way I ain't gotta worry about it. We ain't gotta worry about it. Alright, Tom. Tom. I need to do stuff. What's up, TJ? How you doing, my man? Cat in the box. Oh, true. Just take like the whole week, does you? Whole week, dude. Why not? Let me move the Taylors. That's what I'm doing. Moving the Taylors. We're just vibing today. We might take a break here in a little bit and do and visit somebody's island or something. I don't know yet. We'll figure it out. We'll figure that joint out, you know. 4 days, TJ. 4 days, my dude. It'll be here before we know it, though, which is pretty hype nation. I'm ready. Are you ready, TJ? I'm so ready. Like, beyond ready, dude. Yeah, take my money, Tom Nook. Take my money! Alright, I'm out. I'm dipping. I am dipping. Not double dipping. Never double dip. That is nasty. Alright. I'm gonna put it here for right now. Yeah, I'm gonna put it right here just for right meow. I don't know why I keep it less imagining it when I don't need to. It's not permanently there. Okay. I don't know why I did that. Me, big brain genius. Me, big brain genius. Did you guys have a good Halloween? That's another question I was gonna ask. Did y'all have a great freaking Halloween? I hope you guys did. I went to a Halloween party, not on Halloween day. The day after Halloween is when I went. The day before Halloween. Alright, now we must continue onward next day. And I also got more like lamps and stuff. We're just vibing today. We're vibing. Smash like for Epic Monday chillin' vibe though. Make sure you guys do that. And I know when the update comes out, there's gonna be so much more stuff that I'm probably gonna demolish some of the stuff I'm doing and redo it. You just stayed inside? I got you. I stayed inside too. I know my sister took my nieces and nephews out trick-or-treating. Well, my niece and nephew, because one of them, he's in like middle school and he thinks he's too old now. He thinks he's too old. I mean, I still dress up every year. I'm not even gonna lie. I spent 2 hours trying to get nail polish off my hands yesterday. It was not awesome. You already finished your island? What? What'd you do to your island, TJ? What's up, Brayden? What's up, my dude? Hope you're having a fantastic day. We'll have to check it out sometime, TJ, for sure, dude. Yeah, I think most people trick-or-treated, did all the stuff like the day before Halloween. I noticed a lot of people saying that. They're like, it was crazy. We don't get trick-or-treaters where I live. Because we live in the middle of nowhere, and most of the time they have like these, like the towns around us do like this little Halloween shindigs. So they trick-or-treat like the local businesses and stuff like that, and people sit up there and give out candy. Which is pretty cool. Yeah, we went to a Halloween party. You watched Nightmare Before Christmas? As you should, though. It's a Christmas and Halloween movie. And I noticed that on my way to work today, I drove by somebody's house, and they had their Christmas decorations up, and I was offended. I was genuinely offended. Dressed up like Lily Potter and a little Harry Potter. Oh, that's so awesome! My niece dressed up as somebody in Harry Potter. I can't remember who, but she had the whole robe and everything and the wand, and she did her hair herself. She looked precious. Am I gonna open the gate? Why would I open my gate, Braden? What would I open my gate for? You know, you worked on your island for 15 hours and finished it, of course, 2 days. And the direct count, so you wasted 15 hours. Felt that before, TJ. But don't worry, that's what the islands are for. You can always just upgrade pieces over time. You don't have to do it all at one time. Just do it piece by piece. That's what I like to do. You're going up this week? Okay. I got you, Star Trek. At least you're waiting a few days. Like, this person was like, day after Halloween, let me put up my inflatable snowman and Santa Claus and reindeer in my front yard. And I was like, you're nuts. I haven't even ate turkey yet. I'm not even gonna be able to eat Thanksgiving dinner this year. Probably. I will. It'll probably just have to be only soft foods and stuff. He was Ghostface. Nice. I did like the whole like 80s like hair metal thing. I like a bandana and like I just I don't know. I dress like heavy metal crap. Forget about the days I went. It's like not there. Yeah. All you do is eat. Right? Because I went to Walmart like a week before Halloween, right? To get some stuff. Like to get some stuff because we were doing this thing at work. And they have like half the stores already like Christmas decor. It's crazy. Oh, I'm sorry, Star Child. Jury duty. Rip. You watched that movie a few days ago? You watched Nightmare Before Christmas? Nightmare Before Christmas is one of my favorite movies. One of my favorite movies ever. I like anything Tim Burton, honestly. Anything Tim Burton. Tim Burton's sick. Alright, Isabel, I'm busy. Now I can do what I was going to do. You should... Aww. Because people always hand you money. That would be smart, though, see? There's always next year. Or you can dress up as Tom Nook Santa Claus during Christmas time, Doshi. Instead of giving presents, you just take them. Because Tom Nook takes money, yep. I mean, it's up to you, man. It's big brain. Yeah, I dressed up like, straight up like heavy metal look, and it was awesome. And I know now hairspray will not stay in my hair for longer than like 30 minutes, like 20, 30 minutes. Sucks. And I used a lot. My hair just wouldn't, it just fell down. But it looked cool. I don't have a picture of it. I don't take pictures of myself. I don't think I'm very photogenic as a person. What? That sounds awesome, Doshi. Getting cold outside? I love it, TJ. I'm so excited for the pulling out the sweaters in the flannel season. I'm pretty stoked about it. I love the sweater weather. But if you're up where Doshi is, Doshi's probably gonna get snow any day now. Hopefully not for his birthday. Knock on wood, knock on driftwood. There's a joke. Think about it. Marinate on it. There it is. I need to move the tailor shop again. But I'm ready. And we ended up playing some songs at the Halloween party I went to, which was pretty cool. And thank you guys so much for 13 likes on the stream. I really, really appreciate it. You guys are killing it. But if anybody else in YouTube land hasn't smashed that like button yet, make sure you guys do. Yo, is there a video of it, Doshi? It's your birthday, happy early birthday, TJ. Nice. Fall's awesome. Fall and spring are my favorite 2 times a year. Winter, I'm not a big fan of winter because it's too cold. And summer, it's way too hot. I like being in the middle of those. Like, cool breezes. Chilly, let me put on a sweater. Or just let me, you know. Let me just have a light shirt on. Like a thin long sleeve is fine. That's what I wear sometimes during the springtime. But spring and fall, prime. Prime. I had a flannel on earlier, but my mom is very, very cold-natured. She's always cold. So, she had me... My baby! I must. Goldie, it's not like that. I took a vacation. You told me we were on break. It's not even like that. Oh my god. Let's chat. I love you. Oh, Bob. Yo, same someone? Same? Love you. Sorry, Goldie. I've been away. You know that. We talked about it. Guys, you did not see that. Imagine. No. Let me imagine it. Eugene, thank you, Doshi. I'll check it out after the stream, dude. That sounds awesome. There, that's what I wanted. That's what I wanted. And now, how many blocks is that? 1, 2, 3. Wait. 1, 2, 3. 5, 6. No, I gotta leave that open. No, I'm gonna check that out, though. Alright, let me save, go next day again. Then we'll start doing the main stuff. We are vibing, Coffee, and welcome to the stream, my friend. Hope you're having a fantastic day. We are vibing today. I'm just doing some little things, just moving some things around that I want to move around, you know? That I've been needing to get around to. But I haven't had a chance to yet. But we're working on it. We're getting there, slowly but surely. And I have some ideas of what we're going to do. Alright. Need to go one more day in the future, then I'm done skipping. Unless somebody wants to leave. Then I'm doing it. What's the City Folk Halloween like, someone? Dang, Doshi. What do you do for work, Doshi? I don't remember if you've ever told me, man. You reset your island? You're crazy. I thought about resetting my first one. Like, completely wiping it, but I don't know yet. But I'm not sure yet. I'm trying to get villagers I've never had before. Like, never thought about just getting villagers I know I've never owned. Oh, that sounds really fun, someone. I have a DS emulator on my computer. I can always give it a shot. I've been working... I have a 3DS one, too. But it's just, I don't know how to get the games to work. I might have to look into it more. Because I want to play DS games. I've been downloading every single Pokemon game. Because I'm nuts. Alright, now we can commence fantasticness. What's up, Dancer? How you doing? Welcome to the stream, my friend. Hope you're having a great Monday. Thanks for stopping in. Oh, I got you someone. When did you reset? And what's your theme for your island? We'll probably end up doing a long stream on Friday. Probably a long one. We'll probably do Smash on Wednesday. $12-hour stream on Friday if I didn't have to work Doshi. That might happen, dude. I haven't done one in a long time. I know I took a long break. I just don't know what I would do during a 12-hour live stream. Honestly, if I did one again. But we'll have to hit a milestone to do that. And I don't have any goals in mind. We're just hanging out trying to have the best time possible. What's up, Coco? How you doing, my friend? You don't even have to have a theme song, money. Oh, thank you, Doshi. I appreciate it. I know it took way longer than a lot of people thought I would. But I needed it. There was a lot that I don't really... You can't leave. There's a lot I'm not going to go into, but feels good. Roblox is finally back. How long was it down, Coco? I know it was down for 3 days. Oh my gosh, Coco, I could not wait that long. That's forever, dude. Legitimately forever. What's up, Goldie? No, I'm gonna have to do it like that. Why was it down, Coco? Do you know? Dude, I've been seeing that Squid Game playlist. People play that Squid Game playlist on Roblox. That legitimately looks fun. That legitimately looks fun, actually. Have you played it on my village? Oh no, my villagers hate me, dude. Doshi. You didn't have to, dude. Thank you so much for the $5 Canadian super chat. You're insane, Doshi. Save your money for your birthday, dude. My villagers are in my way. My villagers are in my way. Oh my god. Oh my god. Thank you, Doshi. There's a massive glitch on one of the games. There's a Chipotle event. Chipotle event? Tell me more. I like Chipotle, Coco. Just got paid. Well, you gotta save your money for your birthday, Doshi. I need to stop. Oh, they're talking. What does that mean? What am I doing? What are y'all about to do? My villagers. Yo, this is gonna bug me. This is gonna bug me. I need to move this one block over. What's up? What's up, Paisley? How you doing? Welcome to the stream. Hope you're having a wonderful day, my friend. I gotta knock this down. We're gonna have to. This isn't lining up right. Yo, Doshi. That's a good idea, dude. There we go. That should fix it. You've been playing since 2017. Oh my gosh. I know Roblox has been out for a long, long time. There we go. Boom. We're doing awful. Oh no! I'm sorry to hear that, Paisley. I'm glad you're doing better though. How's schools treating you besides all that icky stuff? Yo, yeah, send it to me, though. She'll check it out, bro. Rip. Yeah, I know. Yeah, you were explaining it to me, Tan, that you didn't want to just get super excited and do everything and then have nothing to do. I feel like I don't play Animal Crossing as much as I used to. I mean, I still play it on a regular basis, but I feel like I play it enough to where I feel like I won't hopefully get bored, you know? That's what I've heard, Coco. When the new quarter starts meaning new like this, you have to miss the first week? No, Paisley, I'm so sorry, my friend. That sucks. I'm sorry. I hope it all goes well and everything goes back to normal very, very soon for you. That's awful. We're gonna make some epic. Super epic. Cozy raid. Welcome in, Raiders. What's up, Wishcan? What's up, JJ? Cozy raid. Let's go. Thank you so much, Raiders, for coming by. I appreciate it. Hope you guys are having a lovely, lovely day. What's up, Curse Cow? What's up, Raiders? What's up? What's cracking? Thank you, thank you, thank you. Hope you guys had a blast with... Is it Cozy? It's Cozy. What's up, 5B? Cozy! Welcome in, Raiders. Thank you so much for the raid. I really, really appreciate it. Sweet Shay, what's up? What's up, everybody? Thank you so much, Cozy, for the raid. What were you guys doing over in Cozy stream? That's awesome. I appreciate it. What's up, Jackster? What's up, everybody? Thank you guys for stopping by. I appreciate it. Thank you for bringing all your lovely people over here. What's up, Ali? I'm glad to hear it, Shay. Just working on setup for the update? Ooh, I'm working on some stuff. I'm trying to get ready for the update. I just want to have some more stuff put down before the update comes out. And that way I can figure out where all those new items are going to go. I'm pretty stoked. What are you guys most excited for about the update? Remind me of another wooden name guy? I do, Jackster? I feel like you've been here before, though. I feel like you've been here before, Jackster. What's up, Culture? Welcome to the stream. Thanks for coming by with the raid, dude. Right? Stoked. Super stoked. What's up, Steven? Yeah, everybody make sure if you want to, make sure you smash that like button. And I hope you enjoy your time here. We like to play Animal Crossing and a bunch of other Nintendo games. Just have a good time. You seen a video? I'll check it out, Josie. I'll have to check it out, my dude. I appreciate it. Right! I'm excited for the new house decorating stuff, like the building all the walls and stuff. Because I like decorating the houses, especially. Thank you so much. I'll take you guys on a tour of my island, and I'll show you guys around my island here in just a minute. I just want to do a little couple thingy things. But I'll take you guys on a little walk around here in just a minute. I just want to lay a couple things down first. Yo, all that stuff on Harv's Island. Finally, I feel like we're gonna have a reason to go hang out with Harv. I'm pretty stoked. Cooking. I'm excited for all the vegetables, like the potatoes and stuff. I just want those so bad. I just want to be able to cook, and I mean, cooking is cool. I just want to be able to, you know, do some. I want all the vegetables planted everywhere. Thank you. I appreciate it, Culture. Boba Fett trailer? Is that like a new movie? Star Wars movie, Doshi? New Star Wars movie, dude? I'm down. You even gotta say nothing. If there's a new Star Wars movie, I'm ready. I'm excited to have coffee with my villagers. Tammy's playing Rocket League. Oh, I know beat 'em ups is. Kid Core 100%. Right! I have a farm style area, but it's only got pumpkins in it, and I feel like with all these new vegetables we're getting, it'll definitely fit it really, really well. Definitely gonna fit it really, really well. I'll take you guys on a tour of my island here in just a minute. Let me place this last few tiles. I need to put this corner, fill out this corner. Yo, series on Disney Plus? Good thing I just got Disney Plus, though. I've seen The Mandalorian, but I've not had Disney Plus until now. I just borrowed people's Disney Plus. Can you not? Can you let me put that there, please? Oh my gosh. That's in my way. That's in my way. Okay. People calling you bad stuff? Yeah, that's a lot on a lot of places, Coco, which is unfortunate. People are rude nowadays. Alright, let's go ahead and put that there. And I kick my path like a dummy. Boop. There's Goldie. There's my precious love. My favorite villager on the planet. Alright. He just thought he wanted to do a thing. Now he's frolicking. I wish there was an easier way of putting paths on the ground. Welcome back, TJ. How you doing, my man? Hope you're still doing well. Dizzy's running. Dizzy is absolutely precious. I love Dizzy. I just have a few more villagers to get rid of before I have all the villagers I want. Which I'm pretty stoked. What's up, Abram? How you doing, my man? Hope you're having a wonderful, wonderful Monday. I just actually smacked my headphone cord. Let me fit. No, game, don't do me like that. Alright. I need to do the corners. Did I restart? No, this is my second island, 5. This is my second Animal Crossing island. My first one, I just released an island tour for it. Sweet. Honestly, you can be named whatever you want. Honestly, it doesn't really matter what your name is. Just embrace who you are and just have fun. Honestly, you can have any name. Driftwood honestly just came to me out of nowhere. It was an idea. I'm gonna cover up this sand because these were just here for measuring purposes, and I need to break those rocks out of my way. But let's go take you on a sweet little walk around of the island. We'll start over here. I'll show you guys the map. Let me show you the map real quick. All right, let me. I'm gonna cover up my webcam real quick, and I'm just gonna show you my map. Then we'll come back. This is my map. It's called Little Root. I got the name from Pokemon, but it's a Kid Core Island. My villagers so far. Welcome back, Paisley. I mean, you can have any name you want, Jack. You stole LeBron James? That's crazy. My villagers are Bob, Stitches, Cherry, Goldie, Sly. He's not permanent. We have Tangy, Hugh, Dizzy, Bones, and we got Ruby. Thank you, Doshi. I appreciate it. Let me put my camera back. All right, there we go. But my map is pretty. I feel like it's pretty nuts. It's pretty nuts. Pretty crazy, honestly. But we're gonna come up here. This is my little park area. What's up, Elsa? Welcome to the stream. Hope you're having a fantastic day. Thank you. I appreciate that. I love all my villagers. Yeah, I know. I have a bunch on my other island. So that'll help me out a lot, I feel like. And I have the family plan for both my switches, so that should help me out a little bit. To get more dedicated? I understand. Sometimes it's good to have a fresh start. But sometimes it's hard to find the motivation. But we got my little park here, my little soccer. That's actually supposed to be a water fountain. I haven't put it there yet. Another little park area over here. And we'll come over here. We got some part of my villager areas. Yeah, I have a bunch of miles. I have a bunch of miles on my other island, Tammy. Oh no, Paisley. Hopefully you get to retake it and I'm pretty sure you'll do the best you can, Paisley. You got this. I have all the faith in you, my friend. We got Tangy's house. We got Bob's house over here. I'm gonna come this way. This isn't really finished up at the top, so I'm not gonna go really past here. I don't think it'll hurt your period attendance if you have a doctor's note and stuff like that, Paisley. That's at least was the case when I was in school. This is like my bushes and stuff that I just have over here just for reasons. My nooks crannies over here, like a little convenience store area. Wet floor sign. Yeah, I know, Tammy. I just want to use it for my, that island's pretty much just for storage and other items that I need. Because I have every item on that account. Well, when the update becomes live, I won't. But it's going to be used as currency to acquire all the things I need and want in Animal Crossing. We got my little bus stop area here. And then we got my museum right here in the middle of town. You're doing College Core, Farm Core? I've seen videos of Farm Core, Paisley. Farm Core is absolutely sick. I would love to see it, and I would love to tour that once you get some done to that. That'd be awesome. If you come up here, this is where my house is. And I did it to kind of match Goldie's house, because Goldie's my favorite villager. And her house is here. And if you come down this little way, you have her little farm area, which is going to now change because of all the stuff that we're getting in the new update. But it's just pumpkins, and it's kind of sad. And she's got a pond. I'm going to have to probably knock out part of her pond. I mean, yeah, part of her lake, so I can add more vegetables and stuff to her farm because she deserves it. And it's yellow because she likes it. Because she's yellow. It's just precious. I don't know. I like it. And there's that over here. This part's empty. I haven't figured out what to do here. You found You found a Sherb plushie? Yes, Tammy. Yeah, me too. I'll be excited when I can change this up a lot. You stole my candy? I don't even eat candy, Abram. Fun fact, I don't even eat candy, dude. You found a what? You found a Sherb plushie, don't you? What? So then we got a little sitting area for me and Goldie to sit here together. But I'm excited to change the outside my house to fit the more vibe that I have, which is pretty stoked. She does. She's awesome. What is a suck plushie? I have no idea. Someone else. Ask Doshi. Sorry. But thank you guys for 20 likes on the stream. A sick one? I hope that's what he meant. 35 bucks on eBay? How big is it, Doshi? You got my little square, my little fountain area here. No, Austin. What's up, Austin? How you doing, dude? And we're gonna come across my land bridge. Tammy, you know it. I'm always walking around with full pockets. Unlike I'm not now, but usually I am, because I always carry a bunch of stuff. But that'll definitely help clear my clutter in my pockets. My land bridge is right here. That goes right behind my resident services. Was it expensive to get the equipment to stream on my Switch? I mean, what I got was a gift. It was a present from somebody. But the capture card, depending on brand, you can get a decent capture card for cheaper than the Elgato. The Elgato is like 150 bucks. But you can find, and I know a bunch of other people that have other alternatives that are cheaper and do just as good of a job. This is just the one somebody gave me as a gift. But really, all you need is a modern laptop. I used to stream on an Apple computer until it died. But then it died, so I had to get a new computer. So I'm on this computer now. But yeah, I mean, all you need is a modern laptop and a capture device. And if you want to go that route, a decent like headphones with a microphone on it will do just fine. You stopped spinning it? Austin, I hope he has. He was partying hard. Yeah, I know there's, like I said, there's cheaper ones out there. I think my capture card I had was like 150 bucks. But now electronics have skyrocketed in price. So just do some research. Look on Amazon, do some research, and watch a lot of like videos. And there's a lot of helpful videos on the internet. Sorry for the mess here, but this is my entrance. It's got robots and stuff, and I love this little brick path I got here. It's precious. I gotta clean it up. Sorry for the mess. I was bringing stuff from my other island. I will go up here first, which is not finished, but it has a little pool area. And just walk through here. And this is my little mini train gnome toy area garden thing. That's the only way I can explain it. I did a video on it. If you guys want to check it out, it's on my YouTube channel. We got Bones' house. He's gonna be tucked away in the woods back here. And I haven't figured out how I'm gonna do around his house yet, but I got some ideas. Yeah, I mean, you can get a good microphone for like 40, 50 bucks, like between 30 and 50 bucks. The the Yeti Snowball mic, which is like just a big circle, little sphere microphone. I used that one for a long time and it works really, really well. I saved money and I bought this one. I like this one a lot. This one has a bunch of adjustments. You can hook your headphones up to it. You can monitor yourself. But you don't really need a lot of expensive stuff to stream. To make content. Don't think you need expensive stuff to start off. Because, I mean, the more you do it and, like, you know, the more exposure you get with people, you know, you can, you know, just save your money and then, you know, get the stuff you want eventually. But just, you know, you don't need the best stuff to start off with. Yeah, Doshi has the same mic as me. This mic's sick. You stole my Bob Ross positive energy drink? Dude, Abram, why you gotta be like that? Yeah. That's true, Austin. You already know. It's true. Does Animal Crossing birthday party celebrate his and Snake's birthday? I love Snake. Snake is one of my favorite villages. Hey, we'll walk through here. He's got a bunch of stuff chilling. Yo, Bob Ross is awesome. I still watch Bob Ross somewhere else. He's relaxing. a little tucked away. It's just hard to walk through here because I just have it all piled up. Just for looks. Just for looks, really. Austin, you can have all the fruit you want on my old island, dude. You know that. This one, you really can't get to the fruit trees. Oh yeah, I want to go over here. I'm stomping on my own flowers because I can. Actually, you'll be able to see it better when I go up to that area over there. Let's walk over there. They will probably stomp you. The robots they are very, very armed. First, is there anything else you can do? Honestly, I don't remember, Paisley. Don't remember. It's been a while since I did that. I don't think so, honestly, but I could be wrong. Oh my god, Tammy. Oh my god. And if you come over here, sorry. If you come over here, you come through these little crevices to my little teddy bear area. The teddy bear forest is what I call it. Oh, girl. Oh, mama. You come over to Stitch's house, which is in the teddy bear forest, which is absolutely precious. We got more villagers' houses over here. This is just more junk that I need to pick up, unfortunately. And we're gonna come up here before we go to the campsite. This is the teddy bear area still. And there's more up here. And this is what I was talking about. There's like a little... I kind of based it off of Thomas the Train idea. By putting like a little plane and helicopter up there. And the server up there looks like buildings. So it just looks like a little place where planes drop. Anybody's welcome, 5. What's up, Terraria? What's up, my dude? Welcome to the stream. Hope you're having a lovely, lovely evening. Thanks for stopping by. And if we go over here, I haven't started this yet. I still have a lot of items to get for this area. But I'm going to do like a space. Bye, Terraria. Thanks for stopping by, dude. This is Ruby's house. I'm going to do a bunch of like spacey, alien stuff. Because I don't know. I feel like space and alien stuff could, like, I don't know, kid core. I feel like aliens fit really well. I don't know why. And there's like a little moon shaped here. I'm going to put like some rocks and some like, make it look like a crater with some spaceships and stuff. Still working it out in my head. True, someone else. LOL. Big LOLs. Big LOLs, my friend. No, it's okay. We were already talking about. Yo, Toy Story area? That's what I love Toy Story. I wish they had like different like themes from other like people. Make a toilet area. Everybody knows toilets are in the house, April. Creator updated so the map is trash. I don't know, Paisley. I don't know. But I mean, however you can make content, just do it. No matter if it's like, if it looks bad or not. Because, I mean, the more you do something, the better you're going to get at it. Yeah, I have, Doshi. Buzz Lightyear looks odd, but I'm pretty stoked to see something like that. No, Tammy, I wish. I was hoping it's Friday. It's only Monday. Everybody hates Mondays. But it's been an alright Monday. But if we come over here, this is an addition to the teddy bear forest. This is pretty much like a teddy bear campsite, pretty much. And this is my campsite area, which I think is pretty. Yeah, I know it comes out Thursday night, but I won't be able to play it till Friday. I'm pretty stoked for Friday though. Unfortunately, I'll probably be getting my stuff ready for work the next day. But that's my island so far in a nutshell. It's got a lot to do. Absolutely beautiful so far, I think. Gonna be up all night. Tammy, you better send pics, dog. True! The more you work, the better you get. Honestly, I didn't always, like when I started YouTube, I didn't play Nintendo content. I didn't. I didn't even mess with I had a Switch, I didn't stream my Switch. I streamed like games off my PlayStation. I played a lot of Rocket League when I started YouTube, and those videos were bad. And a lot of those other videos, I played Call of Duty, those videos were, to me, they were, now I look back on them, I see what I did wrong. But now, like, once you get in the swing of doing your own thing, you kind of figure out what works for you and what doesn't, and you just kind of got to play it by ear. And just honestly, at the end of the day, do what makes you happy. It took me a long time to figure that out. Just do what makes you happy. Yeah, Tammy, or it didn't happen. Pixar didn't happen, Tammy. Pixar didn't happen, Tammy. You're still... Austin, I'm sorry, dude. But you partied hard, bro. I'm proud of you, Austin. That's all I gotta tell you, bro. I'm proud of you. Like a proud father. I'm gonna work at 8 a.m. Ooh! No, you don't. All you need is like 2 hours of sleep. I'll probably download it. I'll probably get all the update stuff situated. But I won't mess with it till we go live Friday. And it's gonna eat at me all day at work until I can actually play it. But I like the pain. Your birthday's this month? Ooh, someone else. Maybe. If we're live anytime like on your birthday or around your birthday, make sure you come by so we can all wish you happy birthday. Working at 9? That's when I go to work too, Tammy. I need to go get a shovel. Pace yourself on your birthday? Oh my gosh. Austin, I don't drink anymore, dude. I already had a bad drunk birthday experience. And I spent all night puking in a bucket. Your Animal Crossing was dying? No, Doshi! That's sad panda noises, dude. That is sad panda noises. And thank you guys so much for 20 likes on the stream. I really, really appreciate that. You guys are killing it. These are my only good pair of Joy-Cons with my new Switch. And I've been babying them. They go on and off the dock, and that's as far as they go. I do not carry them around the house or anything. What up, Mystic? How you doing, my man? Thanks for stopping by. Hope you're doing well. Austin, I'm pretty sure it's possible. You can probably find some sweet custom designs to make a Power Ranger Island, dude. Power Ranger Island would be litty. Need more trees for mushrooms? Just plant a bunch of trees, Star Child. You can get them so cheap in Nook's Cranny. And you can also just, you know, just go to like use Nook Mile tickets and just go dig up trees on other islands. You also got a circle light off Amazon, like a ring light for your face cam. Because I believe I have one off Amazon. I got mine off Amazon too for very, very cheap. Thank you so much. If you want to join the Discord with anybody, make sure you click that Discord link. Thank you so much, Mystic. You just got 2 hours in, part of my rent, and you go 3 days, 2 hours. Dang, I got you, Elsa. I got you. Thank you, Pacey. You're too sweet. Yeah, if anybody wants to follow me on the socials, be sure to follow me on the socials. Follow me on Twitter. I post on Twitter all the time. I love Twitter. I love the tweeter. I like Twitter. I like YouTube. I don't use Instagram as much as I should because I'm bad at it. But be sure to join our Discord server. Yeah, that's what I got. I've been looking at getting photo studio lights because I saw some on Amazon for like 40 bucks and you get 2 of them, but I realized I don't have the space for that. So I just did not do that. I like lights, honestly. And one light seems to do the job. Twitter annoys you, Tammy? Twitter's kind of it's a cruel mistress. If you haven't purchased any merch, what are you doing? We're working on new merch. I'm working on new merch. I'm going to work on a merch contest too, which I've been wanting to do for a while. Your stepmom's obsessed with Instagram? Instagram's okay. I get on there just to scroll, look around, scroll in there for 10 minutes, get bored, get off it. But Twitter, I get on Twitter all the time. And Discord a lot throughout the day. You see all my Twitter posts? Yeah, I post some things on Twitter. I also post how some songs slap. Yeah, I love Twitter. So follow me on Twitter. Twitter's awesome. Facebook is the next to go. Felt that, Tammy. Felt that. Facebook is doo-doo butter. I don't even really get on Facebook that much. I just get on there to see what memes people post, and I'm over it. Because I like memes. Dank memes, bro. You follow me on Twitter? I'm pretty sure I follow you too, Doji. I like Twitter, though. Twitter's awesome. Twitter can get raunchy, though. You can go down the dark rabbit hole of Twitter, and Twitter cannot be, it's sometimes not a good place. I need to take a potty break, but I'm in the zone, homies. A parent company named to Meta? That sounds dumb, Doshi. Facebook is dumb. Sorry for anybody who uses Facebook. That is dumb. I stopped using Facebook for like 6 years. And the only reason I opened up a Facebook account is for my YouTube channel. Then I deleted my YouTube channel stuff from Facebook. Because Facebook is dumb. Meta World Peace? That's disgusting. In the description? Doesn't bring you to my Twitter page? We'll just hit social. Click the one in the exclamation point socials, Mystic. That's the best one, bro. That is the best one, bro. I gotta get rid of that rock. I'm just too lazy to get rid of that rock right now. I understand. You stole my wheels on my chair? Then I fall off? Yo, this chair better not fall apart. This chair better not. This chair is sick. Yeah, Facebook's bleh. Probably gonna delete it next. There you go. But Tammy just put the link in the chat, so just click that one. Click that one, Misty, if you want to follow the Twitter. See Twitter, Instagram, and Twitch. Thank you for the follow. I probably got a notification for it. Yeah, I did. I did. You followed me on Twitch. Thank you so much, Mystic. And thank you so much for the new Twitter follower. Thank you for following me on Twitter. Appreciate that, dude. You can't steal somebody's froggy chair, Doshi. That's rude, dude. Yo, my island is turning to a place of tomfoolery and sweetness. You want a gaming chair with some chrome rims on it? I don't think you can get 24s on a gaming chair, honestly. But if you can't, if you find one, hit me up, dude. I want some 24-inch rims on my gamer chair. You stole Doshi's door? Why would you do that? Why would you do that? That's ruthless. I did not mean to do that. Jeez. Doshi needs that stuff, though. We stealing? I need to stop. My character needs to stop using his arms for bad like that. By bad, I mean what he's doing now. Abram out here, though. So it's Halloween King? And get you, but you can't see John Cena though, Doshi. But you can't see John Cena. We're figuring it out. How do you steal LeBron James? I don't get it. You stole NBA career with LeBron James? Oh my. Doshi has an NBA career with LeBron James. Doshi. That's positive. Oh my. Batista? Are you talking about Batista the wrestler, Doshi? Oh my god, you're nuts. Yo, Batista would not want that. That's absolutely crazy. Oh my god. Right, it's insane. You've been to Space Jam? Like, is that an actual... Somebody make a Space Jam island, Doshi? That's impressive, though, if somebody did. I don't know if I like this. Stop Brian Perps. What, Tammy? Tammy, what was that? I was like, huh? Oh my god. Oh, you've been... Oh, Ryan Perp stole your heart? Aw, Tammy. That's so cute. Oh my god. Tammy, that's so, like, precious. Yo, what are you talking about, Austin? Sorry, my mom was talking to me about my uncle. My uncle had surgery today. My mom was telling me about how that went. You stole my paintbrush? But I need them, Abram. How'd you know I have a paintbrush, dude? Bro, how'd you know? But you're saying psychedelic pattern? I don't know. I found it on Pinterest, Austin, and I fell in love with it, dude. It's pretty dope scheme. And it's got some good jams, guys. Like, I can't play it on YouTube because it's copyrighted. But I got some jams. I'm talking to y'all. I'm having a fantastic time. I hope you guys are having a fantastic time with me. Doshi, you polishing toilets? What? What? Jamming out for sure, Cozy. We are. You need some good tunes. I wish YouTube wasn't rude and didn't let you play music, but I would. I always gotta have some music going no matter what I do. Will you stop? I need to take a bathroom break. But I'm trying to do this. I just can't stop. I don't know what I'm gonna do here yet. Yeah. Abram hat is a toilet? Abram, here's a toilet. Free for you, Abram, toilet. Yo. Same, Doshi. I just want to polish my villagers' houses. Like anything from my villagers' house. I think it's so... It's just like the tiny little things in the update. They're just mind-blowing. Exactly, Austin. You already know, bro. We just can't stop. And plus, the Animal Crossing music also is on. You can't eat a toilet, Abram. That is just impossible. Physically impossible, dude. Cockroach! Not in my house! Scoop! Sorry, bud. I need an axe. So I can axe questions. I need fruit to break those rocks. So I'm just gonna grab a pile of peaches. And I need my lights. I'm gonna use these, yes. What's your favorite food? Toilet, yes. As it should be. All crazy. I need these. On Amazon, yo, Doshi. You already know, dude. Actually, I'm gonna see how that would look. I have an idea. I need that. I need that. I don't know what else I need, honestly. Oh, I can finally put that there. I will try that, too. You saw an eggplant model? Yes, Tammy! Yes. Yeah, I need more of these tall garden rocks for Ruby's area. I have a bunch of Halloween stuff. We might put some of these down. Actually, I'll grab a couple of those. I need to go back up. I need to go back up. And I'll grab a few more of these. And I'll grab these because I like it. What up, Alex? What's going on, dude? Welcome to the stream. Hope you're having a lovely day, man. Thanks for stopping by. Oh yeah, I need to put this chair out too. Because I forgot about it. Actually, I might as well put both of them out when I get back from the bathroom. I thought I had floor lights. But I guess I didn't order any or pick any up. That's crazy. That's absolutely crazy. I'm gonna grab a tricycle. Blue one too. Grab these scooters. Because they're different colors. Not the yellow one because I don't need the yellow bike. And make sure you guys hit that like button if you haven't already done so. It is really, really appreciated and it helps in so many ways. Are Misk? Are they? I don't think I ordered any. Yeah, I don't have any. Jeez. Rip. I guess I don't have any. I'll have to order some later. Nah, it should be alright, dude. But I need to use the bathroom. But I got all these items. For ideas. For brain. For the working of brain meat. Okay. I love this area. I'm gonna go walk through real quick before I take my bathroom break. I'm pretty stoked. You gotta eat dinner, you'll try to make it back? It's okay, Paisley. Enjoy your food. Thank you so much for hanging out with us today. I hope you have a really, really good rest of your day. I hope you have a great dinner. And if you come by later, we'll see you soon. But if not, we'll be live again on Wednesday and hope to see you there as well. Thank you for hanging out. I need to get a shovel. Actually, I don't even need to go back to my house. I'll just go buy one before I take my break. And Alex is on Animal Crossing. Let's comment, Doshi. You want to polish the toilet for your village? Is that what you said, Doshi? Or, oh, you should put bears in front of my soccer rolls. Oh, that's a good idea. What's up, Panda Kid? What's up, Panda Kid? I remember you. Thanks for stopping by. I hope you're good. It's been a while. Hope you're hanging in there all right. But I remember. Don't worry. I need a shovel. So I can pick up bushes. I'll buy it. Alright. Alright. Guys, I'm gonna go to my village. I'm gonna go to the main part. You stole my Air Jordans. Good news is I don't wear Air Jordans. So if you stole my Air Jordans, those aren't mine, dude. You got the wrong J's, homie. This Ross, I mean, it can be whatever you want it to be, Doshi. But we're gonna enjoy the time with my villagers. Well, you're too kind out. You don't have to, man. I honestly don't know what I'm gonna do with them yet. That's awesome. You're doing art. Art is so awesome. A hedgehog, Panda. If you're in the Discord, put pictures of your hedgehog. We'd love to see it. But guys, I have to use the bathroom real quick. There's really cool music on the Be Right Back screen. Don't go anywhere. Chat amongst yourselves. We'll be back here in just a few minutes. I just have to use the bathroom and take care of something real quick, and I'll be right back. Bro, Alex, you're too kind, bro. So guys, hang tight. Enjoy the music. Sounds good, Panda. But I'll be right back. Do it, Doshi. I know you touched my drum set. I love that movie star shot. But guys, I'll be right back. Smash that like button. I'll be right back. Enjoy the funky tunes, bro. Hams. Be right back. I hope you guys enjoyed the tasty jams. I'm back. How you guys doing? I'm back. What's crack-a-lackin'? Alright, shovel time. Shovel time. We're back. You got some candy from downstairs? What kind of candy did you get? Someone else? Got that fresh Dr. Pepper too. Wait, oi! Need bushes. I want these. I like these. I like holly bushes. Ooh, what flavor lollipop? Jams are preserving. My buddy wrote all the music for my stream. One of my friends wrote all the music for the stream. I'm working on changing the music up. I feel like we're overdue. I feel like we're overdue for a change of the jams. I don't know why I just did that. I'm gonna put those there. And I want to put my street lamp here. Cherries, your favorite cherry's really good. Can I push this anymore? I can. We need to go back a little bit. There we go. Yep, there we go. So the lights are symmetrical at it. And I was thinking about putting one of these here. Put that there. And maybe... What's this look like? Maybe? I don't know. I don't know if I like that. I'm gonna dwell on it while I go get my fences for my storage. I'm pretty excited for the customizable fences we're getting, everybody. That's gonna be pretty sick. That's gonna be pretty awesome. Because I've been wanting that for a very, very long time. Which means I might have to change my entire fence idea. Completely. I need fences. Yes. And I don't have... Maybe push it. We'll see. I have an idea. Or I need weeds. I need weeds for hedges. I have an idea. How do I make hedge? I don't remember how to make hedges. This is bad. I don't remember what buttons I need to push. There we go. I'm absolutely dumb. We'll try it. We'll try it. We'll see what we gotta do, Star Child. Let's see. We got supper. What'd you get, Alex? I know I need the blue fences. I think I'm gonna have to change that all up again. I think that's what I'm about to do. Let's go back. I need to put a Mario pipe out. I know, but at least something's better than nothing, you know? I'm gonna go ahead and build some of these. Burger? Ooh, that sounds so good, Alex. I'm jealous, man. that. Yo. Those shall be epic. What's up, Sky? Welcome to the stream. Hope you're having a lovely day. Thanks for stopping by. So a shot in basketball, but he's LeBron James. Does she Bob Ross area? That's so nasty. That's so nasty. I don't know. I really don't know. Hold on, I'm gonna get rid of that. I'm really I'm kind of torn right now. What are you doing, Jerry? Are you... Yo, it's a lot of work, Star Child, but it's completely worth it when you get it done. It's super awesome. I suggest you give it a shot. Just try. And if you hate it, just, you know, break the rock. Those are street lamps. Yeah, I need that. And I'm gonna put garbage bells. What's wrong with Zucker, though? Zucker is just sick. That's what I wanted to do. Did I pick up a fountain? You hate Zucker? Why, Doshi? I think that's way too big, honestly. Yeah, I think that's way too big. No. No. And they're gonna eventually change to the other ones, but I just wanted these. Just for reminding. I'm working here. I have ideas. Put flowers here. Oh, okay. No, no, no. I have... Ooh. Big brain, big brain. Big brain. Big brain. Do I have any art statues? I don't remember, honestly, Star Child. I'll go back to my house real quick. I like that. There. I like that. That works, kinda. Probably Doshi. More than likely it will be Goldie. I like that. I actually kind of like that a lot. Where you come here and you have the direction. I just have to get... I realize that I... Actually, let me go look. Let's see if I have the fence. Do I see if I have the hedge? I could have sworn I had the hedge DIY, but I don't on this account. No! Yeah, I have like 100,000 note miles on my other island. Really? I'm excited that you can, the DLC's gonna give you a job. I hope so, Doshi. If not, I'm gonna have to buy Doshi. I'm gonna buy Goldie's card off. Goldie's card off the internet. Oh. Oh, it's I'm looking at the wrong area. I'm dumb. You have 2 Goldie cards? You're lucky, Doshi. I was at the wrong place. Hedge DIY, please? Gross. He better, Abram. Like a mega villager, what would they look like? Honestly, I don't have an idea. I do not know. She is a queen. Facts. Oh no, that's not gonna work. I don't know. I'll leave it. I'm gonna leave it for right now. But I do know I'm gonna do this around because I want to. Tom don't dislike the stream? It's okay, haters gonna hate, Doshi. We live for the haters, bro. They wanna hate because they ain't me, you know what I'm saying? Just means I'm popular. I just need hedges. And I'm gonna put bushes here. We need to get bushes. After I did all this work, Tom Nook better not ask me for a dime of money, Doshi. I'd spit on his shoes. Straight up. I ain't even afraid to. I'm gonna hawk a big loogie on his shoes if he was like, pay me. I'm like, phew. You're treesh. What's up, MJ? What's up, dude? Welcome to the stream. Hope you're having a lovely day. I'm sorry. That's so funny, someone else. Oh yeah, let me break these rocks out of my way. Let me get swole real quick. Let me get swole Nate. Let me get hashtag gains. Oh, drop it. Oh. Ooh. You gotta eat peaches, you know? Peaches are good. Bam. I don't care. There we go. There we go. We're cooking now. Oh, you're all good. You're all good, Tammy. Tammy, it's all good. I thought it said your phone went Coco, and I was like, hey, being slow ain't bad, though, she. Just means you ain't got to work as hard. And that's good for a Monday, though, man. For shizzle. I know these aren't the right colored, street lamps, but I don't care. You want to join membership? Yeah, I don't have memberships right now, does she? I realized that on my return that I shouldn't have memberships at this point. I contemplated getting rid of them for a while, and then I got rid of them because I want this to be more. I want to, you know, I want to develop a community, and I want people just to hang out. I don't want people feeling like they have to spend money just to be here or have special perks. I want us to all just have a good time before I consider doing memberships again. But I mean, in time, if I did do memberships again, I probably wouldn't. They would probably be like $1 or $2, really. Just for the cool, sick emojis that there are. Because there are some really cool emojis that we had. And I still have them. I just can't use them. Because I don't have memberships. Yeah, I thought about just doing like maybe like $1 or $2 just for the emojis if I do decide to bring it back, you know. But I mean, I'm just fine with everybody just hanging out right now. It doesn't really matter. Because everybody was here for me before I got memberships, and I don't know. I don't want to make people feel like they have to spend money, you know, when you don't have to. For sure. You know what I'm saying? What's up, Red Panda, homie? Hope you're doing good. Thanks for stopping by. How was ballet for you, Red Panda? I'm gonna get rid of these. I thought we could do something way prettier. That's what I'm talking about, Doshi. Dr. Pepper's life, bro. Why was your brain? What do you mean, Red Panda? That doesn't sound good, my friend. Which teachers loves Dr. Pepper is the best drink ever made. Changed my mind. Yo, Doshi, if you haven't ever had one of those, it is pretty good. I suggest you do that for your birthday. Suggestion made for birthday. I think you will not be disappointed. Yes, do it someone else. It is so good, Doshi. I stopped eating stuff like that, but it's so good, Doshi. I thought you can mix any dark soda with ice cream and it'd be absolutely fantastic. I think I remember that, Doshi. Team Root Beer Tammy, that's so nasty. I love you, Tammy, but just not down. Just not down with that, Tammy. When you were a little kid? I remember my dad watching it when I was growing up. My dad watched it a lot when I was growing up. Weird? What, for me not liking root beer, Tammy? Root beer to me is just not poggers. What's up, Curry? Welcome to the stream. I don't like root beer, sorry. Right, it's so close, Red Panda. So close. Are you serious, though? That's insane. I know it's been one of the longest running shows on TV, like The Simpsons and stuff. It's been on for a long time. If any of you guys in the chat, I know I haven't said this in a minute, haven't smashed that like button yet, make sure you guys do. It'll be really appreciated, and it helps in so many different ways. So make sure you smash that like button. I think it's for 25 likes on the stream so far. A chia. Yo, I'm getting ready. That's why I'm just trying to stay content and just chill and have a chill Animal Crossing stream. I don't know if this looks any good, but I kind of like doing the whole path like this around it. I haven't seen it in a long time, though, G. I actually haven't watched TV in a long time, honestly. Yes, Thursday night. I'm gonna cover this up. Oh my gosh. You took off just for Animal Crossing, or did you take off just to have some time off, okay? If you took it off for Animal Crossing, that's poggers. That is absolutely insane poggers. Well, thank you guys so much for everybody who stuck around. I really, really appreciate you guys. You guys have made my return to YouTube absolutely awesome. And I believe, honestly, what day did I come back? I don't remember what day I came back. Because we're coming back up to the month anniversary, I believe. I understand. But I mean, that's awesome. Turns out you picked the right week off day, which is super, super sick. I need to see when I came back. We came back. It doesn't. What day was that? October 6th. October 6th, guys, was the day we came back. So the 6th of November will be our 1 month anniversary of coming back. Oh, okay, you're so sweet. I've missed everybody too. It was really hard to take the break. It was really, really hard to take a break. I'm glad, Doshi. Thank you so much. Yo, Red Panda, I'm doing a giveaway on Friday. I'm giving away two of the Happy Home Academies. I'm giving away 2. Cause I gave away the Sora DLC, but those were, you know, they were cheap. But I can only give away. I'm gonna give away 2 of the Happy Home Academies. That's what I'm gonna do. You got worried? Oh, yeah, you just need a break. I mean, there's a bunch of things that happen. There's some things that happen, but we overcame. And I needed some time off to really figure some things out with like life, because I went through a rough, really, really rough like part of earlier this year. I feel like it was a really rough part. I mean, I'm an adult. You still go through rough parts when you're an adult. I went through a lot. I didn't give myself really enough time to, you know, dwell on it and figure it out, you know? And I feel like I needed some time away, so I took my time away. I really figured a lot of things out, like what I wanted to do, some things I really needed to do. You sure with 1 subscriber? Dang, Doshi. I just have the family plan for myself. But I took a lot of time that I really needed to take to figure some things out, and I think I got a lot of, like, my brain figured out. You ever just drive yourself nuts? I drove myself nuts for like months on end, like you guys have no idea. And there were some other things that went down, but that's not what like I said, I'm not gonna talk about it. Oh no, that's awful though, Shiva. I'm glad you could help her out make her day. I probably made her small. Big. Super big. Just all you being able to steal? Oh, how the tables have turned. Someone else put that freaking Uno reverse card out there. Oh my god. But I'm glad to be back, and I'm glad you guys, all of you all who stuck by me and decided to come back and hang out, that I'm live. And I really appreciate the moderators, especially Ryan and Tammy. They've been a lot of help, like talking to me like throughout like my time away, and then like through the whole like before I took time away. They did so much, and I really, really appreciate Tammy and Ryan so much for what they've done to me so far on my YouTube journey. They don't understand how much they mean to me as people. And they're honestly some of the greatest people I've ever met in my life. They do need it. But Tammy, thank you. I know Ryan's in bed, or either in bed or about to go to bed. but thank you and Ryan. You guys are absolutely sick. Y'all are absolutely super sick. Oh, damn me. He's up. Love you, Ryan Pip! Oh, yeah, he's got 30 minutes. You're right, Tam. He's got 30 minutes till bedtime. He's watching... He's watching football? Is he doing his fantasy football? Fantasy foosball? The fantasy foosball? True! We do have another mod, but they're busy and they're usually here for Smash Brothers. And speaking of which, Ren, one of our people one of the people that hang out in the chat, Ren was in a big Smash Brothers tournament and came in 13th place out of like over 500 people. That is absolutely insane. Ooh, that's wrong. Which is super awesome. I wish I had a sleep schedule like Ryan. I just can't do it. Just can't commit. I need to pick up this tree. Ryan is poggers. Smash like for Ryan and Tammy Perp. Ryan and Tammy are the real MVP. Do my bushes these bushes really not match? Thank you so much, Kay. I'm pretty sure you were here earlier when you smashed that like button. Smash if you like Ryan, but hate his pizza. True. Red Panda knows. Alex, I have a bunch in storage. I just haven't felt like growing them. I'm just messing around. I'm absolutely just messing around right now. Trying to figure out. Ooh, you actually made pizza before? What kind of pizza did you make? I have one, Alex. I've been grabbing a whole bunch of them. That's what that area over there where all the holes is. No, cover that up. What? How am I planning on streaming? I have no idea, Doshi. I know I've been streaming for what, like over 2 hours today so far? I don't know. I'm just kind of going for it. I'm having a good time tonight, honestly. Part of me wants to, probably needs to stop to do stuff like around the house, but I can't. I'm having a good time hanging out with y'all, so I just want to keep going. You feel me? I'll probably do no more than another hour. No more than another hour. Definitely no more than another hour. Oh, someone else, you're too kind. I'm pretty sure me and Doshi both really, really appreciate that. Someone else. I don't know, it's the... Honestly, the big part, like when I took my break, the thing I missed the most was like all the regular people that would always come by to every single stream. That's literally what, like, I missed the most. But I missed all the... I just got aggravated because I just kicked my path that I worked so hard to produce. I'll fix it. But yeah, I'll probably stream for no more than another hour. Cause I do gotta work tomorrow. But we'll be doing Smash Wednesday, I believe. I'm gonna get bushes. I'm gonna start planting all these bushes. I wanna look at my map now, real quick. Don't steal his cookies, that'd be bad. Yo. You miss the old roads that aren't regulars no more? Yeah, there's some people that I miss too, but it's alright. It'll be alright, Red. People come back eventually, or they don't. 4 days till update! Some people come back, some people don't. It's just what we gotta do. We just gotta live with it. But it's all good. The real bros are the ones that stuck by me through everything. So that means y'all are the real bros. The real homies. The real score. What's up, Andrew? Welcome to the stream, man. Hope you're having a good day. That's true, Doshi. I feel like that's why a lot of people got away from the game. Do I want those fours? Nah, Alex. I don't know what I'll do with them, man. I'll probably have to get them from you later, dude. But I appreciate it. Hope you're having a wonderful Monday, Andrew. Andrew's profile picture is super sick. Super sick. Thanks for stopping by. We appreciate it. And thank you guys for 27 likes. We're almost to 30 likes on the stream. That is absolutely crazy. Alright. I feel you, Yoshi. I'm gonna watch those things you sent me after the stream, dude. I don't know what I'm gonna do here yet. I'll figure it out. Don't have any idea what I'm gonna do yet. I can't get back there. Alice, what's going on? You're not late. You're right on time, homie. You don't even have to say late. You are right on time, my friend. How are you doing today, Alice? You know me, don't stay long on streams. No, Dosh, you're too kind, bro. I appreciate that, dude. You're awesome. Every single one of you guys is awesome. Put a triangle. Put that tricycle. Goldie, I'm busy. What other items do I have? Oh, electric kick scooter. Oh yeah, and I was gonna put a menu chalkboard here. That's what I was gonna do. Tired, tapped for 6 hours. What are you talking about? I was tapped for what? Oh, you tapped dancing. I was like, tap? Wait, wrestling? I thought you were talking about wrestling. I thought you were talking about wrestling. I was like, I was wrestling out here? What's on the other side? Oh, it's blank. I'll put that there. I'm great, Alice. Thanks for asking. I hope you're doing well, my friend. I want to put bikes here. Do I have bikes? I do. Go. No game. You're eating croissant? Eating croissant? Yeah, everyone will steal them, Andrew, for sure, dude. Be careful. For 40 seconds? Nice. How'd practice? Was practice good to you? Are you still nervous, Alice? 'Cause I know last time you talked about practice, you were really nervous. You got this, Alice. You got it. Pull it back just a little bit. Yeah, I want to have that as a bike area. Yes. Yes. Beautiful. Beautiful. Bird bath, street lamp, street lamp. I need my other bikes for my house. For my house! I need to use the bathroom again. Don't drop your croissant, though. Don't drop the croissant. Because that would be absolutely not poggers. Oh my gosh, that's crazy, Red Panda. I don't need the fountain. I don't need that. I'll keep the street lamps. I don't need the bird bath. I need those for something. Yeah. We wish you all the best luck. Yes, Alice. Yes, I could drop my croissant. I need these. And I think that area I have... I'll grab the scooter and the scooter. Oh my gosh. Yes. I thought I didn't have the pipe. Turns out I'm dumb and I have the pipe. What? Where am I going to put the pipe? I don't know. Right here seems pretty legit right now. Yeah, right there seems fun for right now. I'm gonna put a scooter here. Like the Lime bikes. I don't know if you guys have ever seen those Lime bikes or scooters. That's kind of the idea I got. Please don't be the same color. It is. Duty. Yeah. I'll put a bike here. Put the yellow bicycle right here. Right! Oh wait, no. I want to put it over here near the water fountain, so it's like that person stopping to get water. You feel me? That's my brain working right now. That's big brain mentality. Voluptuous gordita brain. There we go. Yeah, that's perfect. I'm about to go take a bathroom break. Yes. No, come on. I wish you can. It'd be super fun though, Red Panda. Get up! Sorry. And thank you guys so much for 30 likes on the stream. I really, really appreciate it. I'm gonna put this other tricycle here. Kind of tucked away. Yeah. Oh my gosh, Doshi, what, dude? That's nuts, dude. You're absolutely nuts. Fix that. This is just like a little pass because I want those to be accesses to my beach. Tammy, that sounds like a little much, homie. Sounds like a little much, my bro. But, oh my, Tammy. Hold on. Get out of the way. Tangy, come on! Oh my god! I got her before she got up! I got her before she got up. Bye, Tangy. Bye. You love her? Oh my gosh, dude. I think I got it. Let me check to see if I got it real quick before I go take my bathroom break. Tammy. Look at her. Oh my, that's for Tammy, purr! There you go, Tammy. Precious. Absolutely precious. I'm Jigsaw. Oh my, I want to play a game. Run, Zucker. She is, baby. She's so cute, Tammy. Look at you, Dizzy. Hanging out. You know what, Dizzy? Cheers, my dude. There we go. I'm pretty stoked on how my map looks. I'm pretty stoked. I'm gonna have to do these flowers all along my the main part. I'm pointing at my screen, but you guys can't see it. But I need to do it all around, all that stuff. I'm actually over by Nook's Crane where my peninsula is with all that carnival stuff. That's where I'm gonna build my carnival area. I'm pretty stoked on my map though. It's looking pretty legit. It's pretty legit. Walked in your room, cry. Cry happy tears, Doshi. Then I'll use a sand path for here. I already have the sand path too. We'll do that when we get back. And we'll do a little bit more of the path when we get back and then end it off. But guys, don't go anywhere. Make sure you smash that like button. I'm going to use the bathroom. Chat amongst yourselves. Enjoy the sick nasty music. I love you guys so much and I'll be right back here momentarily. Be right back. Alright, we're back. Let's do more stuff. Let's do more stuff. I did not want to show. Goldie turned into a zombie and attacked your food? What would I do? I'm sorry, I would have to end Goldie forever then. She wouldn't want that, does she? She would not want that then. She would just... I couldn't allow that to happen. You know? Wait. That's not right. Oops, that's wrong. That's completely wrong, dude. And I like this because it kind of goes to the beach. And plus, I don't feel like I use this path enough to justify me having it. Honestly. Honestly. That's wrong. But I'm leaving it. I wish for Halloween they could have done more this year. Yeah, I feel like they should have gave us a little bit more for Halloween than they did last year. I feel like they could have added a little bit of something, you know? But Animal Crossing, what I've learned is Animal Crossing's stingy. Super stingy. And City Folk Villagers dress up as Jack. That sounds really cool. Like, I mean, the Jack event was cool, I think. But I feel like it just like giving your villagers candy and getting items was cool. I mean, I feel like they could have done more with it. So they probably should have done something like they did in City Folk someone else. For sure. For sure. Oh yeah, that's the filler. That is the filler. Why? You're all alone, Doshi. What? Welcome back, Alice. Howdy. We're still working on island shenanigans. I'm trying to figure this out. We still hold Alice's flux capacitor. She can't go back to the future now, does she? What? Oh, what? She's screwed, bro. I thought Doshi liked Sherb, though. Doesn't Doshi like Sherb? You're off of practice on Poggers? Let's go, Alice. Which means you get to rest up and enjoy just chilling, hopefully. At least I hope so. You'll snap your fingers and turn dust. You got superpowers, don't you? You got powers you ain't talking about, bruh? Oh, I can't do what I wanted to. Dang. Rats. Yeah. You're totally not here. I understand. Goldie, what are you doing? Thanks, Goldie, for not being in the way. My love. My sweet. I honestly have no idea what I'm doing, but I like it. But I absolutely love it. Goldie, please. Goldie, please. I'm busy. And I love you. This is for you. And for me. Mostly for me. Stop. You guys, should we raid? I know we don't have that many people in here, but should we raid here in a bit? Goldie. You're killing me. I'm busy. Least favorite villager? That's hard, actually. Wendy. Definitely Wendy. She's the first one that comes to mind. She was Rudy. Rudy or Mathilda? We should raid Bob Ross. He's a cool guy. Bob Ross is a cool guy, for sure, dude. But if you guys want to do a raid, we'll do a raid. I'll find something that we can raid. If you guys, if we have people to stick around, that is. I mean, I don't know. It's completely up to y'all. Goldie, this is beautiful. This is absolutely stunning, Goldie. She just doesn't even understand. There we go. There's that. I gotta fix that because I did not do it. There we go. Braves in 6? I know, Brian. They should have won last night, dude, but they blew it. They had a good first inning, bro. But how are you doing, Brian? I know you're probably working right now, but I hope work's treating you good, brother. I hope work is treating you very, very nice. Oh, you're off already? Nice. Brian, you didn't hang out in the Discord with us, bro. Like, trying to be factual. You need to hang out in the Discord with us, bro. Yeah, we'll leave that one there. And I don't feel like doing the rest of that. That'll be where my, Nice, Brian. That's awesome, dude. I'm happy for you. I'm glad you should actually, the most thing that's, I'm hyped for you. You should actually have time off now. Which is mega epic. No. Dang it. I need to plant these bushes real quick before. And don't make sure you guys smash that like button if you haven't already done so. Yeah, I'll plant. I guess I'll plant them here. Doesn't really matter. Because I need them to grow. There we go. That'll be fine and dandy for me. And then I'm going to go put these mushrooms somewhere because I know exactly where I want to put them. I need to place my pipe. For right now, the pipe's going here. Because I need it here. For traveling purposes. So I have a lawn chair. I have 2 lawn chairs. Those mushrooms. And that'll be it, really. I'm going to brainstorm ideas to put here. Dizzy, you think of ideas too, dude. I'm going to do the path here, then I'm going to place those mushrooms. don't know how they're gonna connect, but we'll figure it out later. Yes. Yes. No. I kind of want to. I'm trying to fill out the island a little bit. We're getting. What's up, Earth Turd? No, I'm not restarting. I'm working on. I've been working on this island for a long time, Earth Turd. I've been working on it for a long, long time. I don't want to reset it. I'm actually getting really, really happy with all the things I've been doing with it. And that's a pain in the buttocks. For real. I have 2 islands, though. 2. I hope you're doing well. Thanks for stopping by the stream. We're just doing a bunch of path work. Because I've been putting this off for too long. Way, way too long. And it's a pain in my ends. Right. And I'll fill this in, and that'll be Gucci. That'll be perf. Perfect. Where'd you guys? That happened to me in quite a few people's chats, though. Nothing would happen, and it just says timed out. I don't get it. There's probably a glitch somewhere in YouTube, Doshi. I'm sorry, my dude. Because I know none of the moderators, even from my view, and I can see all the stuff that's happened. There's nobody that's been timed out today. YouTube's just got a glitch in the matrix. Boom. How's this look? A little thick. YouTube doobie. Facts! You already know where it's third. No, I kind of like that. You even held it when you said you're going to hit YouTube. YouTube got something against you, Doshi. Wow, YouTube. Wow, YouTube. YouTube cray cray. I'm going to put this here. Just because I can. I might take it away later. But I kind of like having this little circle here. Boom. Yep, there we go. You have this little entrance way here, and I'm actually going to put these street lamps back. I think it'll look good. No pull. Wrong way. There we go. Then I'm going to go place these last few items and we're going to end off the stream for today. Because I'm tired. Please be yellow. Oh, there's a blue flower there. Please be yellow. Green's fine. And this one should be red. Yeah. Push it. There. And I'm gonna put this other one here. Stream for 5 more hours, Doshi. I have to be at work in the morning, bro. I'll put the blue one here. I don't think I can do 5 more hours, homie. I got stuff to do. We'll have a green one there. I know he's joking, but I don't think I could tonight. If it was tomorrow, I probably could go for like 5 more hours back. Honestly, I could probably, if I was off work the next day, I could probably go for 5 more hours. But your boy needs some grub. Your boy needs to get ready for work tomorrow, which is not hard. I'm gonna put that there. Nice. Nice. If I didn't have to work, I'd probably be here for a long time just figuring out what I want to do. But I need to leave open spaces for update shenanigans. But my map is looking rather fresh, nasty. Yeah, the map is looking rather fresh. Close to 30 likes? If anybody in the chat hasn't smashed that like button yet, make sure you guys do. It'd be greatly, greatly appreciated. Also left in my inventory. Lawn chairs. Those are items that I forgot to get for my build video that I just didn't mention. But I'm doing it now. Who's the one dislike? The haters, babe. The haters. Was Tom Nook? The haters. Uh-oh, he knows. Tom Nook out here. Tom Nook wild. There we go. I like that. I like that a lot. I'm gonna go to my house. Wait, do I have a shovel? Oh, I don't. I need a ladder. I'm going the wrong way. Oh my god. Let's go. Bye, Stitches. Flower grow. This is epic. Into the city. I came to the city to see a marching band. There's no marching band? I'm sad. Need a shovel. No, wait. It's my house. I need a ladder. I need a ladder. I need my ladder, please. We gonna raid? We should. I'll look in just a minute. Let me do what let me get my. Let me let my brain shut up for like 2 seconds where it's like, do all this junk. And then my brain's like, sheesh. Free. Okay. We gonna rate. I'm gonna look in a second though. We're gonna find somebody. Actually, I'll go ahead and open YouTube. I wish you could. I'm surprised that's not a thing, considering that you can catch insects from using them. They should allow you to at least capture one cockroach. Cause that's lame. Super lamb. Yo, I know exactly. I know exactly who we can rate. It's somebody that I haven't seen in a very, very long time. We got somebody playing Animal Crossing. We got somebody playing Splatoon. Those are the options we got. Let's do everything else. Oh my god, you're crazy, Doshi. I need trees. But we're so close to 30 likes, guys. If you haven't smashed that like button, make sure you do. Take 5. Yeah, I don't need many right now. But I know exactly who we can raid. Exactly. Because she hasn't been live in a very, very long time, from what I remember. But we're gonna get it. We are? Are we, Doshi? I haven't even looked, my dude. If we are, that's mega poggers. 30 like freaking hype if we are at 30 likes. Any other hints on who it is? Maybe. I don't know if you guys have ever heard of Jessica. We can raid Jessica Ortega. She's playing Animal Crossing, or we can raid Browa. She's playing Splatoon. She's playing Splatoon. I think we should raid Jessica, because she's working on her island. And she decorates really awesome. I don't feel like moving that right now. We shall. Yeah, I'm just gonna put this tree up here. Boink. Boink. And yeah, well, that'll be enough right now. I should probably save. I'm gonna save and call it. I know Doshi's pretty cool. Am I streaming tomorrow? No, unfortunately not. Tomorrow's my day off from streaming. Because I didn't get a chance to stream yesterday, that's why I streamed today. I don't know, I don't really have a schedule right now since I started back. But I didn't stream yesterday because I felt like garbage. So that's why I streamed today. And I'm glad I did. It was actually really, really awesome. But we'll be streaming Wednesday. Probably playing some Smash Wednesday. Then Friday we'll be doing our we'll be doing update stuff, and we'll be giving away the, you know, we'll be giving away the DLC for Animal Crossing. We'll give away a couple of the DLCs for Animal Crossing New Horizons. But it's been awesome, everybody. Thank you guys so much for a wonderful, wonderful night. But we're gonna raid a person I haven't seen in a while named Jessica. She's a really awesome decorator. I've watched her in the past. It's been a real, real long time since I've seen her. But I hope you guys have enjoyed the stream tonight. I really, like I said, I appreciate all you guys hanging out with me for so long. Thank you so much, Doshi, for the super chats. Thank you for the raid and all the new subscribers. I really, really appreciate all the raiders. Hopefully they come back. The cozy raid was absolutely epic. Thank you to the mods tonight. I really, really appreciate it. Thank you to all the regulars. We'll be live again on Wednesday. No video this week because of the DLC coming out on Friday. We had a video last week, so if you haven't checked out our video yet, make sure you go to the channel and check it out. We're going to raid Jessica Ortega. She's doing some Animal Crossing decorating. Here's her channel. Make sure you go there, say hey to her, tell her who sent you. I'll be there momentarily. You guys have a great rest of your Monday afternoon. Stay safe, stay healthy, and as always, don't forget to stay popping out there, YouTube. Peace. I'll see you over there. This freaking raid stream is ending now. I love you. Bye.